Okay, greetings, salutations. So it is now November the 1st. We're going to talk about that lesson in a minute, but just want to show you here what a difference a day made. So the witches are gone, and now we've got this. It's fall. See, it's fall, y'all. Do you enjoy fall? What's your favorite thing about fall?
I do, yes.
He says he likes fall.
I think pumpkin pie is my favorite thing about fall.
Oh yeah, pumpkin's bomb diggity.
Pumpkin pie.
I have to agree. Pumpkin pie is the bomb diggity. Okay, and also here, oh look, back here. See? What a difference a day made. I have to refer to that because remember last week we had all the Halloween stuff up and it's already all gone and we're talking about fall, which is, of course, Thanksgiving, what we typically think of. But your lesson today is also discussing this little fella I brought with me. Not Yoda so much, because, see, Yoda is wearing something different today. Do you see that? Okay, this lesson is actually a lesson I've just recently learned too about a celebration they celebrate. Mexico, it was originated called Dia de los Muertos. So in Dia de los Muertos, the thing that they honor is November 1st and November 2nd, not October 31st so much like we do, but it's November 1st and November 2nd. Well, Miss Beth, what's it got to do with these Halloween masks we always see people wearing with dots on them? Well, what it is actually is just the way this is styled, you know, kind of a skeleton looking thing, but not scary, right? Because Dia de los Muertos is not supposed to be scary at all. The celebration is to celebrate familia, meaning family, celebrating family that is no longer with you. In my case, that's almost everybody when you get to be my age. But, you know, it'd be celebrating my grandmother or my grandfather who's no longer alive. In my case, I'm older. Not for you, but for me. Probably not for you for a long time. I would also, on this day, and I'm going to on this day, celebrate my mother, my father, who are no longer alive anymore. And by celebrate, it means celebrate the things that were in their life. So your lesson today is about Dias del Muertes. So you can barely say it. But what I want you to think about today in your music lesson is a song. So you're supposed to be thinking about a song. Maybe you can think of a song or something that symbolizes someone that was in your life that meant a lot to you that's no longer around. You know what? We can have you celebrate a pet if you'd like. I could celebrate Mr. Kitty that's gone. That'd be, which kitty left me last? Flash, my little black and white kitty who crossed the Rainbow Bridge not too long ago. Or Dutch, my beautiful chocolate lab that crossed the Rainbow Bridge about 2 years ago. I replaced Dutch, but you can never really replace a pet. I replaced Flash, meaning I got another pet, but it never replaces that person or animal. It's just someone else in my life. So if I were to talk about Dutch for just a minute, and I decided I was going to use this day to honor Dutch, what would I do? I would either play a song or do something that I remember that the dog liked, or in that family, and because he was definitely a part of my family. I had that dog nearly 12 years. So something that maybe symbolizes something that made that dog happy. And I know what made that dog happy. Attention. Hugs. He definitely liked being hugged. And you know, that dog liked to do just about anything I was doing, which meant that dog liked to swim. So I have pictures of the dog just walking into the pool, swimming, coming out, shaking the water off. So I would have to maybe think about some music when I used to be out there. Another thing I could say if we're going to celebrate, and because the holiday, from my understanding, of course, is actually celebrating people in your life. If I were to celebrate my father, who passed away a long time ago in 2012, which is longer ago than some of you were even born, children. But my dad died of a horrible thing called lung cancer. because he used to smoke, and it took his life away from us. He was an old man when he died, but he would have been an older man had he not smoked. So he died in his 70s. But my dad was a great guy. He smiled a lot. A lot of people say I smile a lot too. And when I look at pictures, I do see some resemblance. Now, I do see some things that I don't resemble with him because he was bald and I'm not. He didn't have any hair. Like from the time he was 18, he started losing his hair, of course. I've got some hair, so I'm good. But I've got his smile, that's for sure. And another thing I have in common with my dad that I could celebrate it through music is that we both attended the same college. Not at the same time, obviously, because there was, quite a big age gap between him and I. I believe they're about 30 years of an age gap. So with TCU, that's where he went to college. That's where Miss Beth went to college. So in every day, I celebrate my dad. And I celebrate going to TCU because I always wear something that has a horn frog on it. It could be big, it could be little. Sometimes I wear TCU shirts. I've kind of gotten away from that lately, but I always have at least one piece of jewelry that's got a horn frog. Look. If it's clear, can you see? Okay, so this necklace today is the sign. It's like the sign pendant, and it's a coin of TCU. It used to be my mother's, actually, but guess who bought it for? Dad. Because they all love TCU so much. So here it is right here, my today honoring of my mom and my dad, Dia de los Muertos, with TCU. Now, when I think of TCU, they met at a football game. While my dad was a student, my mom went to the game. And that's how they met. It was a cold game, from what I understand. And she was freezing half to death, and he had a blanket. So they were standing in the stands, oh, it's freezing, I'm freezing. And that's how they met. And of course, my parents ended up being married for 52 years. They met, they fell in love, and stayed together ever since until, time took them away from each other. So I'd say the song I'd think about would be one of the songs of TCU, maybe the alma mater or the fight song. For you might go, I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know any of those songs. But, your family may have a song that's special to them, or a song that's special to grandpa or grandma that may be no longer alive. Or somebody in your family could ask, what was their favorite song? Was their favorite song Jingle Bells? Or did somebody have a favorite song that, we're about to have Thanksgiving. Did anybody have a favorite Thanksgiving song or a favorite Thanksgiving tradition or something like that? Did they always like making the stuffing for the turkey? I can think of one more example of my grandmother from when I was a little girl. And you're supposed to think of the positive things, right? So here's a positive and funny story that I'll share with you about my grandmother and a good lesson. So what I learned is that, you always hear about how great grandmas cook so well and blah, blah. My grandmother was a wonderful businesswoman, but she was a horrible cook. So one memory I remember, we went over to her house. She lived in Midland, and she was going to cook for us. And my mom said, well, I'll get everything set up. And she went, we heard this boom, boom. What's that? What's that? And Mimi, that's what we call her, went, oh my goodness, I forgot about it. And she ran in the kitchen. They had this thing called a pressure cooker. And she'd put, I don't even know because I never got to eat it. She put rutabaga in it. Whatever it was purple. And it was all over the ceiling. And all over her kitchen, everywhere. Because it had popped and it exploded open. So it's like, okay. So the moral of today's lesson is celebrate. Celebrate the people around you, your family. Dia de los Muertos, that's how you say it. And celebrate the people in your life that have been a part of your family in a happy way. And that, of course, if it hadn't been for them, you wouldn't be here. So don't forget to celebrate yourself. Have a good one.